Welcome back to another episode of a Family Business Podcast. This is a very special episode. I don't know what episode number this is, but we got to be really close to 30, I would guess.
Yeah, we actually need to keep track of that.
Yeah. And you know what? If this is episode 30, that would be crazy because that's pretty awesome that we've done 30. But the other cool thing is this episode should be dropping on Friday, June 13th. Ooh, is it Friday the 13th? Is that true?
Yes, and that's also Lobster Fest. So if anyone wants to come to Bettendorf Rotary Lobster Fest, tickets are still available. We're raising money for the community.
Okay.
Love it. Love it.
And I think, so Friday the 13th, June 13th. So 2 years ago on June 13th, we left our previous brokerage to make the move to Real. So it's our 2-year anniversary of being at Real. So we wanted to do a podcast to kind of just break it down of the good, the bad, the ugly, things we love, things we don't love, if there is such a thing. And yeah, how are you guys feeling? 2 years in. Can you believe it's been 2 years, by the way?
No, it's absolutely crazy. And it's something that I think has not only unlocked a lot of doors that we probably didn't even see for a while. But I think just for our area, all the realtors in our area, I think it's opened their eyes, not necessarily to Real specific, but I think it just gave the people an opportunity in a tunnel of light that there's something great out there that might benefit you a little bit better. So
something totally different, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Which obviously EXP is a lot like Real, but not really, right? So it's one of those
really, it's not for real.
Yeah, for real. So yeah, I mean, it is a company that has taken the Quad Cities by storm. I mean, if you look at the growth in the last 24 months, it's actually quite astounding. And I don't know that I've ever seen anything quite like it with a new company. And all the credit in the world goes to obviously our corporate, but the agents that decided to come with us back in the day, including Sarah DeWolf, Peter Hansen, and Molly Mikas, were the ones that were the originals, as well as all of us, of course. But I wouldn't have dreamed 24 months ago that it would have grown this quickly. Well,
it's kind of crazy. One of the facets, I was thinking about this and I meant to double check this, but it's okay, of how fast it's grown. When you talk about that, I remember, one of the key components of Real is you have an opportunity to earn additional income through rev share for agent attraction. And I remember when we were doing this, we're like, okay, well, that's super cool. Like on the side, like we're still going to just do our real estate business, but it's super cool that you have other ways of earning income. And it's also super cool that if you sponsor or attract someone into the company and you spend some time with them and you're helping them and grow in their business, you're rewarded in a small way.
I love how you never mess that up. It's always attract agents, not recruit, attract.
Because tell me so you know why it's so easy for me to think about? Because I've never tried to recruit an agent.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I haven't. I mean, it's that we're so passionate about where we are and how much we love it that I think it just makes sense to share the opportunity.
And I think one of the biggest things is everybody that we've attracted, we
Good job, Brad.
don't recruit them, meaning that we're not saying, oh, we really want you here badly, then we keep going on and on. No, I mean, once we can get them in and explain Real.
Once we have the opportunity to explain Real to them.
Yeah, it's not hard. I mean, that even on the outside, like I always say, it looked too good to be true, and it's even better.
I think that's exactly what it is. And I had this conversation because this is something that I'm starting to work my way into with attraction. Well, you don't have to do anything, and it works in with social media, and it works in with the way that you run your business. But when people see success, they're obviously drawn to it, right? And so people want to know more about it. You don't have to go out and promote and basically be salesy about it, because the proof's in the pudding. People are seeing what success looks like and they want to know what that's about, right? I mean, that kind of falls back on the podcast we just did about coaching, right? I mean, when people see something happen that looks good, that looks great, people are going to reach out. So it's like the one thing is like, just just show yourself and how happy it's made you, and all this amazing things that's come with it. If you share with people how great you feel, then it's the best thing ever.
Yeah. And you just hit the nail on the head there. Just to what I was going to finish saying is like, so it's easy to attract because it's just, you're just being yourself, right? And you generally are just happy. I think that anybody can, if you see Brad and I don't think there's any way that you would not notice a difference in the way that we carry ourselves, the way that, I just feel lighter. Like it's just, it's a whole, it's just the most eye-opening experience that we've ever experienced in our careers. When we came here, understanding that it's not just about being on the hamster wheel and, helping people buy and sell homes, which is a wonderful part of our business, but it's not just that. You want to be able to do so many more things, and Real opens those doors to that. What I was going to say is that without trying, I think our current network as of today is right around 110, 112 people.
111.
Oh, okay. So it's 111 people in our network. So, and again, we haven't, we've just been selling real estate. We're actually having the best year we've ever had this year in selling real estate and working with, clients that we've worked with multiple times. So it's crazy to me that we have that many people in our network because it's just happened.
Right.
Like it's not. So if you're exploring Real, I think that's one of the big misconceptions is that, oh, well, if I want to have rev share as an income stream as part of my business, I have to spend all this time, money, and energy to try to attract agents. And that's not at all the case. You just do what you've always been doing and they will come to you, or maybe you have a conversation and it's just easy because it's like, it's like walking up to someone and saying, hey, do you want a new car? Well, no, it's too expensive. Well, okay, well, it's free. Okay, yeah, sure, I'll take it. I mean, Real is like, and not that Real's free, but I mean, really, it might as well be. I mean, for all the things that they offer between rev share, the great splits, the stock options, the Real wallet that now has a line of credit that people can use.
I'm pretty sure though, when just going back to that, it is kind of free that if you're an elite agent, if you do the math, you have to pay an X amount per year, but what you get in stock is more than that. So
we did the math. We did the math after our first full year, and actually Sarah and our team and our group did too. And she said the same thing. Like literally, Real paid us to be here.
Yep.
Like so. People are like, oh, well, it's this split or that split or whatever. It's really not even about the splits. If you take the whole big picture, right, and do it all, I mean, literally, they paid us to be here. So that's
and then,
super
of course,
cool thing.
The next question is, how do they do that? Well, they've got a lot of ancillary services. So they have Real Mortgage, they have Real Title. They have a Real Wallet, which you just mentioned, and they have stockholders that we are publicly traded on the NASDAQ. So, and they have many more things too. They're big into tech too. Yep. But if you take all of those things, their big money maker is not off the real estate brokerage business. It is off of other things too. So, it's just one of those companies that everybody talks about culture, right? I mean, that's always the key word at a lot of companies. And our last company had a good culture. However, at Real, what's really neat is that it is a national culture. And realtors in a local market are not as willing to help out each other in general. But Real's culture, the way it's created is we help each other out as much as we possibly can, that if I make you better, that's going to make me better, right? So it's one of those where, and that starts at the top. Tamir is just an amazing person and very, very, very humble. In fact, this is going to record a week later, or be aired a week later, but we're going to go to the Chicago area tomorrow to meet with him personally. I mean, CEO of a company of about 28.
That's what I was just going to say. Let's talk about that. So when we joined 2 years ago, how many agents were there?
12. Maybe
there was only 12 agents.
There are 12,000.
12,000. Yep.
When we first started exploring it, there was about just over 8,000. By the time we actually joined 2 years ago, there was 12,000. And now I think we're well over 26, 27,000, which is insane growth.
20.
I believe we're up to 28 now.
Yeah.
Are we really?
And probably more now because they keep adding them every day.
I bet you tomorrow when we have cocktails with Tamir and then lunch the next day with him. I bet you we'll find out the exact number.
Tamir will probably say we have 28,132. He probably knows exactly.
Exactly. But I think this new idea of collaboration over competition, it not only benefits us, but it also benefits the consumer, right? I mean, it adds another value prop. We talk about value proposition all the time about, now we have to prove ourselves even more with the law changes in August and all of this stuff of how buyers agents work with buyers. This new value prop is that, hey, not only am I a great agent, if for some reason I have we all live crazy hectic lives, I've got somebody that can pick up the phone right where I often give you the same service that I do. And so that culture that's built not only in our office, but throughout the entire country of real agents is just super powerful. And I think it benefits the consumer to the maximum power.
Yeah, that's so one of the things that Brad and I would say is one of the things we've enjoyed the most about being at Real, which there's just a million thousand things, is that we used to travel around to go to conferences, whether it's CRS or different things that we would go to learn, right, and to meet and network. And it's so cool because you do that, right, and it'd be like once a year, and you'd meet people from different brokerages and all the things. And then, you kind of unless you got their information, it's kind of hard to reconnect with them on a regular basis. Not that you can't, but I'm just saying it's harder. Whereas with Real, it's so great because literally there are agents all over the country and in Canada that you connect with. And then you have places inside of our technology, work Vivo thing, where you can connect with them. You can do Zooms with them. You can do masterminds with them. It's just the relationships that we have been able to build in the last 2 years with people that we never otherwise would have met or been able to have those kind of relationships with. That's amazing to me, which it's, if there's a person that you're, a certain part of your business that you're trying to work on, there's always someone that you can find that specializes in that you can network with and collaborate with. And that's just such a cool thing that Real, I've never, in all the companies that we've ever explored, or I've just never seen that kind of collaboration and that kind of joint growth.
That's such a good point too, because whenever you think about, skill building, skill learning, you automatically think about, I'm sitting down with a book or someone's teaching me something, right? But that relationship building within the industry, I think, is also huge, because you don't have to actually have a conversation from you to learn from them. You can go on their social media page, see how they're doing their social media. You can sign up for their programs that they send out, and you can just skill build on yourself. So I think, not only do they have a great training program that you can go to and self-learn yourself, but I think just the relationship building throughout the company is tremendous.
Yeah, totally agree. And when I watch, social media is obviously a huge deal right now. And when Andrea always tells me we need to do a video, I might scuff a little bit sometimes. But when you watch the rest
Sometimes.
of the Real agents, you almost have to keep up with them. That they're so good, and you just get so many good ideas. And that comes from, I never thought that I would want to be in a national brokerage, that I just didn't get it. But every time that we ever go to any Real meeting, and I mean Real like the company, it's like you're going to one of these huge conferences, and you get so many great ideas, and everybody's so willing to share too.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that when I'm sitting here reflecting on the last 2 years too, which Real rolled out just almost exactly a year ago, the Real Luxury division, which that's something, going back to how long we've been in the business. And, if you're doing things right, your sphere continues to grow, and your clients, they buy their first house and their next house and And so you just inevitably end up in that kind of higher price point, or I guess in our market, the luxury market. And we still work in the other market, but we definitely specialize in that luxury market. And that was something that was lacking in our marketplace, because our previous brokerage didn't have anything like that, nor was there anybody that really focused on that or you could learn from. And there's really not any other brokerage in the Quad Cities that had that. So when Real rolled that out, which shout out to Kofi and the rest of the founding members, that's just a super cool thing, because you're taking ideas from all over the country. So everybody's luxury market's a little bit different. I mean, where Kofi is, I mean, I don't know what his median price point is, but I don't know, let's just say it's $5 million or $10 million, right? that's his median. Like for us, ours is right around that 850 to $1 million is where our luxury market starts. And then, East Coast, different thing as well.
Right.
So it's so cool though, because we all still at the core do things the same way to level up the client experience. But it's just very cool to see what other people are doing in other areas and just them opening up their playbook, for us to grow and to be able to service and help our clients better and learn things that we wouldn't have otherwise learned. So that's another thing that I just love about Real is that they have that. And then we're not military people, but the military division, I know Bobby in our office has really gotten involved in that. It's just super cool that there's so many different things. There's also the faith group that Janet and Dusty, the SALT group. So that's people that are masterminding and growing, and they're people that are super passionate about their faith. So it's like all the things that if you're an agent, you can tap into something within Real that you specialize in or you want to, get more focused in. And that's just, where else do you find that?
Yeah. Like I would really put it, it's all inclusive, like everybody's welcome, right? So regardless of where you're from, what you have for any actual kind of background or whatever, you're welcome in Real. There's a spot for everybody and you're not going to feel uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. And that's such the cool thing about it too. We always talk about, interview, find the right spot for you, but here there just doesn't feel like there's a dead space for, it feels like almost anything that you're interested in or want to do within the industry. Shoot, the how involved we are with technology and the core piece. I truly think that's just the core piece of the company. That might really intrigue you if you're just a tech-driven person and you are creating your own CRM and all this other stuff, and you can find ways to integrate your business to work through technology. That's another like outside of the box kind of idea too. So it's so cool just to see all the different opportunities that you can find within Real.
Well, and one thing I want to touch on that I think, just because we're talking about, how cool Real is when you talk about the technology PT, it was something I was thinking about. We're in the process kind of restructuring some things within our immediate organization in the BOEYE world, and we're hiring on someone full-time that's been part-time. And, we're looking at how her pay structure will work and whatever. And it's like, I was thinking to myself, it's just so amazing that Real gives you the flexibility, as long as it's not illegal, to structure your pay on every deal however you want to. If you wanted to pay 10 other people on one deal, and it's not like you have to fill out a bunch of paperwork, it's like a click of the button, this person, this person flat fee for this, somebody helps you out on a showing. You don't have to figure out how you're going to pay them. If you want to compensate them, you just go into Reason and you just do it with one little click of the button, which is amazing, right? It just opens up so many different opportunities for how you can build your business and work from a compensation side of things without any hassle.
Exactly. Great point too. Like one of the items I was kind of worried about when you go to a quote unquote cloud brokerage is if you have any issues, how are you like going to get those resolved? Right. Is that going to take a long time? Our brokers in Iowa, shout out to Tim Lucan and shout out to our Illinois broker, John Barnick.
And Janie Burke.
Janie Burke. They do just an excellent job of anytime that you have any questions, they get right back to you. And then if they don't have the answer, you can get a hold of Real support and they're right on it as well. So,
but I love also that our brokers also sell.
Yeah.
That is, so you're not just having a conversation with someone who's like, well, I remember when, right? Yeah. They legit are in it, the trenches with us. And so they know what we're going through with the, let's say the law changes or the different things that are going on with all the Zillow private list, all of that stuff, right? They work in the biz. So they can relate and have that conversation on a different level. So I think that's amazing. Yeah. And you're correct. Yeah. But going back to how you get compensated too, the other super cool thing about that is, do you remember, because people, it's like, I think it's hard to fathom until you experience it, right? Like, for example, I was talking to Katie in our office yesterday. She's at Disney on a trip with her kids and her mom, and she had a closing, and she's like, in a typical situation, it's like, well, how do I even do this? Well, no big thing. Like, her assistant drops off the check and the closing disclosure at our office. Kelly, our admin, just scans it in and, takes a picture of the check and she's getting paid today. Yeah. Directly into her bank account. So that's another cool thing, because it's just like, I remember when we first joined, And like, we were going out of town up north, like about a month or two after we joined. And I'm like, well, how's this going to work? Like, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can do everything from my phone.
That's
this is crazy, like crazy.
Yeah, no, I am always blown away still, like when I'm sitting there in the morning and getting my day planned and I like go on to reZen, I'm like, this is incredible. I mean, every day that I look at that, I'm like, here's all of our transactions. Here's where we're at for the year. And let's get into Leo too, right? So now Leo 2.0 is rolling out, and just what it can do is just amazing. I mean, if you think of Leo, think about a mixture of Siri and Chat GPT, right? I mean, it's that powerful.
That's what I was just going to say is, for those of you who are listening that have no idea what we're talking about when we say Leo is our version, real, like inside of our real world. It's our Chat GPT for our real world. Yeah. And it's freaking awesome.
It's incredible. And it keeps getting better and better all the time. And I keep thinking it can't get much better, but then they keep on telling these new things that it's able to do. And it's
exactly. And it's our artificial intelligence is still, it's been worked on for probably 20 plus years. But it's still in its early ages, right? I mean, we're always being told to use it because it's learning from you. It's learning from us. One of the new things that's coming out is it's going to be able to detect errors in our contracts. So currently, they're looking at how brokers.
Some of us are in big trouble.
Oh yeah, always. But that it's always about the agents. How can we make the agent's life easier? And they're not using the technology to replace us. They're using it to benefit us. And just having that component as well. I mean, we always say, what do we always say? There's never enough time in the world to get completed what we have. So I feel like their angle of trying to give us more time to be successful is definitely a huge bonus within it. Yes.
Yeah. I was thinking about that component of it the other day, as well as like just how in my previous brokerage, their processes just didn't really change in regards to how, especially when it came to transaction management, right? And so there's just a lot of things that were just very duplicated and not user friendly, right? It was like such a burden, right? Rather than, at the end of the day, I mean, as a realtor, your biggest thing is being able to service your clients, right? And if you're bogged down with a bunch of antiquated processes that take longer than it should in the paperwork and transaction side of things, then who's the person that's losing?
Yeah.
It's your client, right? And the agent. It's your client and your agent. And so Real is just, I mean, Tamir just talked about this the other day. I mean, it is literally what he wakes up every day thinking about is how can I make the agent's life better? And in turn, when the agent's life is better, then their client experience is better. It's full circle.
So we went to the RISE conference a couple of years ago, the very first time, and we were blown away. And then we went
2 years
last
ago,
year,
to be exact.
We were blown away. So this year it's in Orlando in November. And I just can't wait to hear what they're going to be coming out with next, because what could they possibly do? And I thought that after the first year, I was like, well, how could they make this company any better? And then they roll out all this new stuff. You're just like
Real Wallet was a mind blower. Like the fact that, and there's something else I wanted to add too that's kind of crazy that I didn't think. So first of all, Real Wallet is amazing. Okay. And the fact that you just have your income is deposited into your account, and then you have a debit or credit card that you can immediately use your funds from
and earn points
to offset some of your transaction fees.
I have to get closer to the microphone.
Yes. And offset some of your transaction fees, because every brokerage has it. I mean, you have to have a cost of doing business, right? Yeah. So it offsets that. But in addition to that, I was thinking about PT. Do you remember one of the first deals we did where the people lived out of state and the place had to be cleaned and we had to paint it?
Yep.
And so normally as an agent, this is just another forward thinking. As an agent, you're like, well, how do I even deal with this? Okay. Well, number one, they have a partner company called Revy that can help you on bigger scales, which is super cool.
Right.
But just on a smaller scale, you were able to get that stuff done. It went into the system and literally is just a reimbursement. It's again, one button, reimburse me for paint, reimburse me for the cleaning people. And that's paid on your check when you're closing. You don't have to go through a bunch of rigmarole to figure out how to do that. So again, making the client, it's easier for the client and easier for you as the agent.
Right. Well, and then another thing too within Wallet, I mean, that is beneficial for, I think, a newer agent that hasn't gone through multiple years of tax seasons and all that stuff. But you also have a tax account too. So right when your money is deposited, how I have it set up is you put the percentage you want put aside, it goes to that account, and I don't have to worry about it. Then with my accountant, he just pulls that money out of that account and you just don't see it. So you can't mess up on that.
Yep.
Yeah. And not just that. I mean, that's awesome, but not just that, but they linked it to QuickBooks for agents. If you take advantage of that,
It continues on and on and on.
With your
It
tax
doesn't stop.
planning.
It doesn't
It's
stop.
like, that's not a separate service. That's something that they're offering to everybody. It's in your system. You just have to connect it, and there it is for you for tax planning and business purposes. So that's just amazing. But, there's so many things. I think we could continue this podcast all day long of all the things we love about Real. Is there anything you don't like about Real?
No. So that's a good question. Like, I always try to think, what do I not like about it? I mean, there was a little while in Iowa where the broker was trying to do 2 states, which, I mean, he did well, but it was hard, right?
That was just growth. And
growth. And
they didn't want to just hire anybody, so it took a little bit of a time.
Took a little time. But outside of that, I mean, it's been incredible.
Right. And I think our initial worry at the beginning when we were going to make the jump was it's not a recognized brand within our market.
Because it wasn't here. Well, it's brand new.
Exactly. And so, I think if there was anything for any gripe or any worry that we had about Real, it was how are we going to overcome implementing into the market? And you all can attest this. There was no issue. There was no change. But looking for an issue, that was probably the only thing we were concerned about. And now it just gets better every day, right?
Yeah. And I know I'm supposed to be thinking of a negative thing, but now you
have to have one negative thing. Come on.
I'll come up with something. Right. But PT made me think about. So you're talking about here we are 2 years later. So Real as a brokerage in the Quad Cities as a firm. So there's a couple. Like there's our buy sell build team. There's Real Agents. There's another group that started as a Cornerstone Real. So but it's Real at the end of the day, Real Brokerage, the parent company, however I'm explaining that right. But we are the number 4, as we sit here today, the number 4 firm in the Quad Cities, which is a big deal because there's probably, I don't even know,
the growth is amazing.
How many firms in the Quad Cities?
A lot.
100 plus. So we're number 4. And I think we have like 11 or 12% market share in that's nuts in 2 years. Okay. So how many agents are here in the Quad Cities? Maybe 65, 70?
More than that now, probably over 80.
Okay. Yeah. So 80 agents in that. So that's super impressive. So the negative thing, I don't really necessarily have a negative thing other than I love, how to explain this? I love how quickly Real has grown. And actually, I guess so they've already kind of taken care of that. So I love how quickly Real has grown just because it's so awesome. And it's no surprise. But, it's just like as we grow, then like Rise gets bigger and bigger, which is super cool. But it's like, that first Rise, it was half the people that are at this one. So, a little bit of that intimacy, but like you said, it just comes back to now it's like a big conference, but the breakout sessions. But what I will say, so there's kind of maybe my only thing, but I will say to counter that, and it's almost like, again, they think about these things from an agent and they don't want agents to feel disconnected as we grow. And so you have things like what you just said, we're going to in Chicago this next couple of days here when we're recording this, we're a happy hour with Tamir, literally owns our company, right? And that happy hour is open to anybody. And then there's a luncheon that some of us got invited to, I think more team leaders and network, whatnot. But I mean, the fact that they're doing that is you're in a smaller, more intimate group. So they're fostering that collaboration and that growth and also the real connections with the leadership instead of just, come to a big conference where one person stands on a stage, right?
Yeah, no, I really think that's exactly right. But I mean, any little issues that we've had over the last couple of years have been corrected very fast. And that's one, like going back to the broker thing. We had one broker doing 2 states. Well, they knew that they needed an Iowa broker. And let me tell you something, that broker that was doing both states was doing a great job with what he what he could do. But I really think the growth in Iowa, going back to how great Real's been, has been so fast that I don't think anybody would have expected that it would have grown that quickly. And now we've got an excellent broker, Tim, and he's doing a great job. So at the end of the day, to answer your question again, I have no complaints right now.
Yeah.
It's excellent.
It's funny because I can think, and it's as I'm sitting here, I'm like, normally you have this laundry list, right, of things that annoy you or whatever. And, if I could change anything about my company, and I just don't know what it would be.
We love it.
It's just fantastic. And we're just blessed that we were led down this path and followed the signs and opened our eyes to this change and made the change for our career and our business. And, the other agents that, that we shared it with that came along and made that leap with us. I mean, it's a super cool thing. And I am just excited for what we'll be talking about, like you said, 3 years from now, when we're here, the next stuff that Real's going to roll out at Rise, because there's always something new.
There'll be something huge.
Any final thought about Real?
It's just truly been, like you said, a blessing. And my favorite thing is all the amazing connections I've made with people all over the country. I mean, that's something special that, I never thought would be a potential possibility. So here we are. Yeah.
And this is not in a traction piece here, but
good job, Brad.
What I love about it is that what you just said, PT, is all the relationships around the country that you get to have. I mean, that's how we met our coach. We met him in person. So, I mean, and he's from North Dakota?
Fargo, North Dakota. How could you forget that?
Is it South Dakota or is it North Dakota?
Fargo, North
Dakota. But yeah, I mean, just really think about that. But there's been others from California, from all over the place. I mean, that's what really makes it neat.
Right.
Yeah, my final positive thought would just be I think it's especially because in our previous life, I'm the one that did a lot of this stuff with our previous transaction coordinator. It's the ease of doing business inside of Reason and all the different ways that Real sets us up for success with our technology platform. So that would be my final thought. I mean, there's lots of amazing things, but that would be one of the big things for me. And also our sponsor, Karen, I feel blessed to have met her because she's the mom too. Yeah. And you know what, guys? So for Real, that's a wrap.
Peace.